Rod, reel, line, the complete setup for buzzbait and popper. I'm gonna walk you through both. Let's start with the buzzbait. So let's start with the line. Typically, you never hear about somebody using fluorocarbon on topwater because fluorocarbon sinks. But on a buzzbait you can, because that's, irrelevant, because you're constantly winding the buzzbait. Some people use a buzzbait on braid. Some use it on monofilament. I like the fluorocarbon because it's that go-between. It has the perfect stretch for me. Braid has no stretch. I don't like that. It seems like I lose too many fish. I miss too many fish. But monofilament has too much stretch, so I don't get a good hook in them. So fluorocarbon line, the stretch on fluorocarbon line is perfect. I use 20-pound Strike King CONTRA line. It's tremendous fluorocarbon line. So 20 pounds is what I always throw on my buzzbait, CONTRA fluorocarbon line. That's the line. Now, the rod, I actually like throwing it on my bladed jig, my Thunder Cricket rod. So the Team Lou Signature Series bladed jig rod is what I use for my buzzbait. Why? We've talked about this rod being a 70-30 action, so it's got plenty of backbone, but it's got a lot of tip for me to get that bait way out there and then allow the fish to eat it a little better with the tip, but I still got the backbone to get it in. It's kind of a perfect size for me if I'm making long casts, which is what you do with a buzzbait sometimes, or very short, close contact casts, or even skips with the Strike King skipping buzzbait. It's kind of that perfect length, that go-between. So I actually use the bladed jig rod for my buzzbait. It's a great buzzbait rod. The reel, I kind of vary between two. I have the HYPERMAG, the Lew's HYPERMAG high speed. That's going to be one constant in my reel choice. This is the 8-to-1, so the 8-3-to-1. So the high speed Lew's HYPERMAG reel. If I'm gonna make super long casts, got a lot of wind at my back, that's what I'm gonna use. If I know that I'm gonna be skipping the skipping buzzbait a lot, then I'm gonna go with the Lew's skipping pitching reel, which is again high speed. It's gonna get the job done. Hey, I fished all day with a buzzbait. You got plenty of line. I know that was a concern, but it's not. It's not. You got plenty of line. It's just if I got the wind at my back, gonna make extremely long casts, then I'm gonna go with the HYPERMAG. If not, if it's close quarters, contact fishing, skipping, then I'm gonna go with the Lew's skipping pitching reel for my buzzbait. So that's my setup for a buzzbait. So let's walk over to the popper. Now, we talked about the fluorocarbon sinking. You almost cannot use that on a popper style bait. Some people like braid. I'm still a monofilament guy on my popper. So I use 15 pounds, either the CONTRA or the tour grade monofilament line. It's a great monofilament line, super limp, so you can make them good casts. I like a shorter rod myself. Back to the buzzbait. I throw the buzzbait on the bladed jig rod. I throw my popper on Kevin's JERKBAIT rod. It's a 610 rod, so when I'm popping, working the bait, I can work it straight down, and it's a short enough rod, short handle, I can make super accurate casts. So I really like his JERKBAIT rod for my popper. It's got plenty of tip. You ain't gonna lose the fish doing that. Reel, I really like this custom LITE reel. I'm trying to think of it off the top of my head, but I think this dude only weighs like 4.9 ounces or something super light. You can get fatigued working a popper or a splash or KVD splash all day long. So having a shorter light rod and a super light reel to make a light setup can really help reduce that fatigue. So this is what I like for my setup on the KVD splash, the big one or the little one. I'm a monofilament guy, 15 pound either tour grade or CONTRA monofilament line, the shorter KVD JERKBAIT rod for my KVD splash, and the custom LITE reel. If I had to pick one in the entire setup, line, rod, whatever, that is a must have, is the custom LITE reel. You may like a 7-foot rod for your KVD splash, but this is a must have because it's so light and it reduces fatigue. It's just a super accurate casting reel, but it's extremely light, which is number one. So that's the setup. Buzzbait to popper. This is what I use. This is my setup. Some's monofilament on the popper, fluorocarbon on the buzzbait. Different scenarios, different situations. That's my setup on these two topwater techniques.